Her profile was on 4 different platforms. She didn't know her photo was visible to thousands of people she'd never spoken to. She found out when a co-worker's husband mentioned it at a dinner party. Her face, floating on a site she'd signed up for 2 years earlier and mostly forgotten. No one had told her. No platform had warned her. She just found out third hand in the middle of someone else's story. That is not an edge case. That is what happens when you do not understand how a platform actually works. When you assume all online matchmaking is the same thing, governed by the same rules, with the same risks. It is not. And the myths that people carry into this space, the ones that feel like common knowledge, the ones your auntie says and your friend repeats, those myths are not harmless. They are costing people real connections, real time, real chances at finding someone right. Today, I am going to name 5 of them, and I am going to be direct about each one. You know what people tell me when I say I work in online Indian matchmaking? Oh, so you run a catalog. They mean it as a slight. A catalog is passive. A catalog is impersonal. A catalog is where your biodata gets pasted next to 50 others and strangers flip through looking for the best deal. That is a real thing. That is how some platforms work. And because some platforms work that way, people assume all of them do. Here is what that assumption is actually built on. An experience from a matrimony website someone joined 10 years ago, or a relative story from 5 years before that, or just a general cultural shorthand that never got updated. The most common myth about online Indian matchmaking is that the category itself is the problem. The catalog, the impersonal process, the public photo, the stranger browsing your face at 11 p.m. on a weekday, people assume this is what online matchmaking is, inherently, as a category. It is not. The category varies widely. What you are actually experiencing when you use a platform is the result of specific design decisions that platform made, and those decisions are the thing worth interrogating. Let me give you some numbers that most people do not hold together at the same time. Stanford's How Couples Meet research found that 39% of heterosexual couples in the United States now meet online. 39%. That number has been climbing for over a decade. The stigma that online meeting is for people who cannot meet someone normally, that stigma is not supported by the numbers. It is supported by cultural habit. For Indian Americans specifically, the math gets more specific. Pew Research puts the Indian American population at 2.5 million. Median household income above $150,000. 75% hold college degrees. This is a community of deliberate, high-achieving people who make careful decisions in most areas of their lives. Now add Carnegie Endowment data from 2020. 80% of Indian Americans marry Indian origin partners. Among US-born Indian Americans, 71%. Among foreign-born, 85%. For first-generation Indian American families, 94% achieve stable marriages. Hold both of those sets of numbers at once. A community of 2.5 million people geographically spread across the US, where 80% marry within the community. The math of casually meeting someone compatible, someone who shares your family background, your values, your community context is genuinely hard. The pool is not large. The probability of random encounter is low. A 2025 industry report found that 77% of profiles on major matrimony sites are self-managed. No review, no verification. No one checking whether the profile is accurate or the person is who they say they are. This is the situation people are working with, and the myths they carry into it make the search harder than it needs to be. Bhavana is in her late 20s, based in the Bay Area, working in healthcare operations. She is the person her friends call when they need someone to think clearly about a complicated situation. She is organized, specific, and does not make decisions without information. She avoided online matchmaking for 2 years, completely. Not because she wasn't looking, she was. She went to events, she let family make introductions. She waited for something to happen through the normal channels. Nothing did. The reason she avoided online platforms was the photo thing. She had heard enough stories. Photos forwarded without permission, someone's face on a WhatsApp group, a profile screenshot circulating in a community she hadn't consented to be visible in. What she did not know, what nobody had told her, was that her photo was already out there. On a matrimony website her mother had helped her sign up for early on, one she'd logged into maybe 3 times. The profile was still live, the photo was still visible. Not to a controlled group of verified matches, to anyone with a paid subscription. She found out when a co-worker mentioned it casually. Her co-worker's husband had seen her profile. He'd shown it to the co-worker. The co-worker, not knowing it was sensitive, mentioned it at a team lunch. Bhavana's immediate thought was not,
I need to find a better platform, her immediate thought was, I knew online matchmaking was unsafe. That is what myths do. They make you assign the blame to the category instead of the specific platform decision. The platform that had her photo publicly visible was not the platform she had mentally filed under risky. It was the one she had filed under safer because it felt more traditional. Myth 1. Your photo is visible to thousands of strangers. Sometimes true, not always. The difference is mutual matching architecture. On a platform where photos are hidden until both people say yes, not visible during browsing, not accessible before a mutual yes, this myth simply does not apply. You cannot browse someone's photo, they cannot browse yours. The photo becomes visible only after mutual interest is confirmed. This is not a marketing claim, it is a structural feature that either exists in a platform's design or does not. Myth 2. Online matchmaking is just matrimony sites with a different look. The underlying infrastructure determines the experience. On a platform where every profile is manually reviewed by a real person before going live, the quality of profiles is different from a platform where 77% of profiles are self-submitted and never checked. On a platform where deal breakers are set up front across categories, the matches you receive have already cleared basic alignment, not just in family background and location, but in the specific things that actually matter to you. A near match feature that tells you which one or two deal breakers are blocking a potential connection is something most platforms don't offer, because most platforms are not designed to help you understand the gap. They are designed to keep you subscribed. Myth 3. If you are on a matchmaking platform, you are desperate. This one deserves the most direct response. The people who say that online matchmaking is for desperate people are usually the people who have been lucky. They met someone at work or through a friend and they decided their path is the superior one. The judgment is not really about the process. It is about class anxiety and the need to perform effortlessness, to signal that connection came naturally, without effort, without assistance, because effort is something only people who fail to attract interest naturally would need. That is not a statement about outcomes, it is a social performance, and it is a terrible reason to avoid a process that actually serves you. For Indian Americans who want a partner who shares their community context, their values, their family orientation, structured search is not desperation. It is efficiency applied to one of the most important decisions of your life. Myth 4. Your parents will embarrass you if they are involved.
The embarrassment of parental involvement comes from platforms that create two separate tracks with no transparency between them. The parent operates with different information. Promises get made. Introductions happen without consent. The child finds out about a biodata that has been circulating for weeks. On a platform with actual transparency, where parents can create profiles and that fact is clearly disclosed on the profile itself, where both parent and child see the same matches, there are no surprises. The involvement is visible by design, not hidden, and that changes the dynamic entirely. Myth 5. The process is cold and transactional. The catalog feeling is real on platforms built as catalogs, but a platform with a members-only community forum where verified members share what is working and what is not, where you can post anonymously or by name, where virtual mixer events let you have real conversations in a moderated setting, that is not a catalog. It is not cold. The question is not whether online matchmaking is inherently impersonal. The question is whether the specific platform you are considering was built for the transaction or for the person. I built VivaahReady because I kept watching people search with false information and bad assumptions, and I kept watching them end up on platforms that confirmed their worst fears when there was a better